Gotransverse Revenue Management. The GT Revenue Management application is designed to be flexible to meet the needs of any client of any size in any industry. With our rules-based engine, GT Revenue Management generates detailed accounting transactions that represent accounts receivable activity and automates revenue recognition. Contract revenue recognition is compliant with ASC 606 and IFRS 15, U.S. and international accounting regulations. Transactions created by revenue management start with activity in GT billing. Revenue management rationalizes and collects that information into charge information records that are evaluated by our native rules-based engine. Rules create transactions that are posted to one or more ledgers. Finally, using the GT connector application, companies can control how these transactions are aggregated and transferred to their target system, typically an ERP system. One of GT Revenue Management's most powerful features is the ability to use multiple ledgers, which we'll discuss in more detail a bit later. A ledger can be set up to convert to a single currency using currency rate sets provided by Oanda or by the customer. The system supports manual journal entries both through the UI, as well as submitting bulk entries via API. The user may configure standard rules that post transactions for GT billing activity, as well as automated revenue recognition for services and one-time charges. GT Revenue Management also supports custom rules. We'll talk about posting rules a bit later in this presentation. Each ledger is assigned a chart of accounts, containing general ledger accounts and categories, and a posting rule set which contains posting rules. Ledgers may optionally be configured with a conversion currency. In these ledgers, all transactions have a value in the billing account currency, which we call the original currency, as well as a value in the ledger's conversion currency. If recognizing one-time charges over the average customer lifetime, the ledger is where that number of months will be defined. A ledger may be assigned one or more account categories, which are defined in GT billing. More on that on the next slide. Each ledger has accounting periods, which are incredibly flexible and will support any kind of accounting period that a customer may have. With the multiple ledger feature, each ledger analyzes the same billing data with different attributes set up for each ledger. Let's look at some examples of this powerful feature. In GT billing, an account category is assigned to each billing account and is typically used to segment accounts by company or division. GT Revenue Management leverages this information to create separate ledgers for companies or divisions represented by the account categories. The multiple ledger feature may also be used to present the same transactions in different converted currencies. We can use this feature to see how the same billing information journalizes with different accounting treatments, or with different accounting periods, or to simply use a new ledger to test a custom rule on production billing data. The possibilities are endless. As mentioned earlier, we support ASC 606 and IFRS 15. We do this through the GT Revenue Management's Revenue Schedule object. GT billing holds product prices defined with a performance obligation and standalone selling price, as well as a revenue contract object that holds contract start and end dates. When eligible products are ordered with the transaction price from the contract, the GT system transfers the information to a revenue schedule that allocates the transaction price to the performance obligations based on the relative value of the standalone selling price in accordance with the regulations. Let's take a look at this integration in action. In the revenue schedule application, we can see that we have 3 revenue schedules defined. We also have 3 performance obligations defined. In our product catalog, we have 3 products defined. When we pop into one of those products, we are going to see that they are defined with a default price, a default standalone selling price, and a performance obligation. We can see that there are 4 revenue contracts set up, and we're going to go ahead and we're using one of them in our order. We have an order, and you can see we've ordered our 3 products. We have our performance obligations, we have our order price, and our standalone selling price. These are overridable, as are the performance obligations. I'm going to sell this for $0. Let's confirm the order. And in the general ledger, we're going to refresh the screen so we can take a look at the new revenue schedule that has been created. And when we pop in here, we can see that we have our scheduled items, which are what we ordered. We have our standalone selling prices, which is what we ordered. And we have our transaction prices, which is also what we order from the order. And you can see that we have allocated the transaction price to each performance obligation here, which is a little bit easier to see on this allocation tab, which clearly lays out the standalone selling prices for each performance obligation, calculates the percentage, the relative value of each one to the total, restates the transaction price, applies the percentages that were calculated up above to come up with the allocated transaction price for each performance obligation. Popping back into the presentation. GT Revenue Management's posting rules are generally driven by three elements: triggers, charge categories, and custom fields. Examples of billing system triggers are orders, invoices, adjustments, payments, and service periods. Charge categories are assigned to all billing artifacts such as prices and discounts on products, usage on services, additional fees and taxes on invoices, manual invoices and charges, adjustments and payments. And many billing artifacts have custom fields that can be used in standard and custom rules. These data points are configured in and used by posting rules to create accounting transactions. Our standard posting rules cover typical billing activities such as payments, adjustments, invoices, and usage. Of note is our ability to track the customer obligation that is associated with our prepaid usage feature, as well as our ability to record postpaid usage in the accounting period to which it relates, instead of waiting for the invoice. Contracted items are recognized according to ASC 606 and IFRS 15. Non-contracted recurring charges may be recognized by day, either posted daily or summarized monthly, or they may be recognized so that the monthly amounts are the same. Non-contracted one-time charges can be recognized over 12 months, the customer lifetime defined on a ledger, or the agreement period for a one-time charge. If desired, manual invoices may be recognized over the term defined on its invoice items. Companies may have different accounting policies, even within the same industry. If a customer's journalizing needs are not met by our standard rules, we are able to create rules that are customized to meet their specific needs. Custom rules go through the same testing process as our standard rules to ensure that existing use cases still produce the desired entries if there are additional requirements added over time. We have never met a custom rule request that we couldn't meet, as long as the necessary information is in our system. Thank you for watching, and we hope to see you in another video.